If you're looking to make solar simple, give Ron Domenico with AD Energy a call. All-day energy made simple. Solar solutions with zero down, options to lease or finance, and roofs and trees are no issue. Call Ron Domenico at 609-226-2802 and tell him you saw him on the Sports Box.
Well, hello again, and welcome to the show that you can just call us a little slice of Pepto-Bismol. This is the Sports Box. The only opinion that matters is right here. I am Mike Galetta, a.k.a. Hampton Mike, along with my partner, Brian, the Ranger Retard. Brian, how are you?
See, now, I wasn't going to correct you on your opening, but then you threw something in front of me, so now I'm going to. How do you slice Pepto-Bismol?
We're a little slice of Pepto-Bismol. I told you, stop knocking my opening.
Sure.
I have issues. It's okay. Anyway, we are going to get to
That is the most accurate thing you've said on the show.
Anyway, our part 3 of our draft mock, we are going to go through 17 to 24. And let's start off with those. Is that like
you're going to offend
Is that
people.
wrong?
No, it's not.
Whatever.
That's not good.
Those Washington Redskins at 17. If you've watched the previous stuff, you've seen how our mock has gone, and some guys have fallen, some guys have risen, but the one guy that I think is going to be there for the Redskins that they are absolutely going to love and be doing backflips in the war room for is Malik Hooker. Now here's a guy, safety out of Ohio State. It's just, can step in right now and help this Washington safety out that, the secondary out. Believe me, they're not struggling defensive backs with Norman back there. But here's a guy that's going to learn again from the position from Norman. And can step in and play right now. And so, in an NFC East that's getting better and better by the draft and by the league, they have to go with the times. I think that's a good pick for Washington.
I think they're thrilled, Mike. I think they're thrilled because I could make the case that Malik Hooker goes as early as 7 to the Chargers.
Yeah.
I'm saying San Diego again, to the LA Chargers. And just the way this draft is going to fall, I think that they absolutely need to address their defense there. They're in a division, like you mentioned, a young Carson Wentz, a young Dak Prescott, and at some point the Giants are going to figure out what's going on post-Eli.
Yeah.
But he's still there right now with guys that he can throw the ball to. Between Beckham and Marshall, as well as Shepard they picked up last year. So you look at a team like the Redskins, and again, to get a guy that could have been much, much higher, and it probably is in many mock drafts, I think they're thrilled to get a safety there of Malik Hooker's caliber. I think it's a phenomenal pick for the Redskins.
At the number 18th pick, the Tennessee Titans, I think, in their first round, in their first pick in the second, in their first of 2 picks in the first round, went Jonathan Allen defense. Now they got to slide back to the offensive side of the ball. And I think this guy really made some noise at the combine, but did make a little bit of leeway during the season. But I think, nailed it down at the combine. That's John Ross. John Ross, Washington wide receiver. Here's a guy who ran an absolute phenomenal 40 time, but this guy can catch. Smaller kid, but, Tennessee needs a receiver and needs it bad. I think they're going to be happy with John Ross.
Speed kills, kid's a playmaker. And the way it falls, Tennessee's thrilled that they didn't reach for a receiver early on.
Yeah.
And we said that at the time, that we felt that they need offensive playmakers. Do you reach for one at pick number 5? And they're glad that they didn't. To get a guy like John Ross's caliber at 18, I think is fantastic. Again, speed on the outside. You give another weapon to Marcus Mariota to get that offense going. You got your running backs fine. They're not hurting for receivers, but I think it's a great pick given how much depth. Yeah, 2 picks is nice in the first round.
Mariota is coming around. What
I really, really like the pick here. I think they could go a Corey Davis or a Mike Williams if they're there. I just think they're going to be.
No.
So that's where I think the Ross pick comes from. And then I'll let you talk about pick
19.
19.
Wait a minute. All right, let me get ready for this. Okay, at number 19, oh my, folks, it's those Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You want to headbutt me right now?
No, I don't. But, you're the one that throws things. I need the helmet.
Oh, that's true. You should start wearing this. Anyway, I think the Bucs got a perfect position here. Running back is a need after the Doug Martin debacle last year. Doug Martin is in voluntary training camp right now, but I don't think it really matters, even though they signed Jacquez Rodgers in the offseason to be the running back for this year. I think Dalvin Cook from Florida State running back is an absolute no-brainer at this spot. He will be there. Here's a guy that's, from the area. They love this kid. A little bit of a shoulder issue, but I don't think it's going to matter. Dalvin Cook is definitely a high-impact runner. For what he did at Florida State this year, this guy's a beast. I think the Bucs definitely go with Dalvin Cook.
Do you need a minute to... You good?
Yeah, wait. All right, I'm good. All right.
I think the Bucs are really happy to find Dalvin Cook here. You know, again, it's one of those things where if we did this mock draft about a month or so ago, this could be a completely different put. But the fact that Cook falls to them here, I think, is great. Is great for them. You know, with McCaffrey shooting up draft boards, we have him going 8 to Carolina, Fournette still 4 to Jacksonville. You know, again, you want to give Winston as much help as possible. I don't think they, you know, again, having signed Deshaun Jackson, you have Mike Evans, you know, your outside receivers are fine.
Yeah.
You know, they think they have something in Cameron Brate at tight end, so they're not gonna look there. You really want to give him more help. And again, to get a guy of what Dalvin Cook can bring, again, a local kid, which I think plays a bit of a role.
And Winston, Florida State, bringing in the kid that he played with.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
I
think
mean,
keeps them
it's a good fit. They can grow with each other.
Again, if I'm them, I understand. I mean, I agree that they're going to go this way.
Yes.
I agree with that. But if I'm them, I really take a hard look at Derek Barnett, defensive end out of Tennessee, because I really have to make sure that my defense, that I'm getting a pass rush in a division with tough quarterbacks to play. But I do think that they want a flashy pick. I think they go Cook at 19.
So at 20, we're going to go with the Denver Broncos now. And I think Denver needs to beef up their offense a little bit, even though they have some quarterback issues and some other needs, but I think you definitely want to go Ryan Ramczyk, offensive tackle out of Wisconsin. Wisconsin had a good year last year, and here's a kid that really protected the inside. You know, solid player, can step in right now and play for this Denver team that desperately needs to start rebuilding the offensive line. Again, Denver's not going to be a powerhouse. I don't think they will be on offense next year, but you got to start somewhere with this team.
I think the first thing that Ramczyk should do with that first paycheck in the NFL is buy himself a vowel for his last name. Yeah, offensive tackle is going to be is a need for Denver. You know, again, that offensive line wasn't that great last year. We're going to see how they look on the running game this year. I think Paxton Lynch finds a way to win this job, and you want to make sure he's protected. Whether it's him or Simeon, I'm not even sure. Is Simeon on the roster still? Whatever, irrelevant. They didn't go after Romo, whatever. They want to make sure that they're protecting whoever is going to be behind that offensive line and opening up running lanes. And I think Ramczyk's a really nice pick out of Wisconsin, offensive tackle there for them. I think it's good. It could also be Forrest Lamp. I think either way they go to offensive line, but I think they prefer Ramczyk, so I'm going to say that, you know, he's going to go there at 20.
At 21, the Detroit Lions again have to address some defensive needs because this is a team that struggles on defense.
The Lions struggle on defense?
No. Yeah, really, that's a shocker, isn't it? The offense isn't that horrible, even though they lost Calvin Johnson last year. I think they'll be okay on the offensive side of the ball. You still have Matt Stafford. I just think this team needs to rebuild defensively, and unfortunately, this guy slid down, who was supposed to be in the top 10, at least that we've heard about. But Hassan Riddick, local kid, linebacker from Temple, I think is a perfect fit for Detroit. He adds a little bit of grit and power and can. I don't know if he's going to step in right away here. He might take a little bit of time to maneuver in, but he definitely will start this year for this team. But I think it's something that Drew has to look at, and this is a good pick.
It's always defense in Detroit. I mean, they really need to address that and make sure that they're doing what they can. Again, their offense, for the most part, is really fine. There's not a lot of needs. I mean, I don't think they're going to reach for a running back here for sure. So, you know, Reddick there is interesting to me. I think he fits a need at linebacker for Detroit in a division where they're going up against, you know, Aaron Rodgers twice a year. You know, if the Bears can ever figure out what they're doing offensively, the same for the Vikings, then you're going to have to make sure that your defense is keeping you in games. And that's been Detroit's Achilles heel for years, is their defense has not really been on par. For me, I think it's a great pick. I think Hassan Reddick makes a lot of sense for them at 21, and I think they're happy he's still there.
At 22, I think Miami is going to be absolutely excited about this pick, too, for a team that's getting better and better. I think they just have to turn the corner on offense a little bit at the quarterback situation. But anyway, I think a defensive end is where they could go this year, and I think the guy slipped down for them that was supposed to be a little bit higher is right there for the taking. I think it's Taco Charlton from defensive end from Michigan. I think here's a guy who had, you know, a little bit of an attitude, a little bit of an edge, which Miami needs. And this is a guy who can get some sacks for him and really push that quarterback to the other side of the ball and give them all kinds of problems in the offensive time.
Yeah, you know, again, you know, defensive end is definitely a position of need for this team, and I think that they're absolutely happy that Charlton's there. Taco, huh?
Taco Tuesday. They don't play on Tuesdays.
There'll be an ESPN 30 for 30 as to how we got that nickname, I'm sure. Yeah. But coming out of Michigan, I think he definitely fills a need for Miami. You know, their offense kind of picked it up towards the end of last year. I think they had a string of games where they actually won that we were just kind of surprised at. But again, you know, the defense is there. We say this about I think every team, Mike. The defense is always a problem. I think that it's a function of there's a lot harder to get defensive players, but the way the rules are and everything in the league, need that pass rush, especially in the division with Tom Brady. Charlton's a real nice pick for them.
Could it be that they were going to the hospital and they rolled through a Taco Bell just to get a snack and gave birth in there, and they just didn't.
It's a legend.
Anyway, number
The
20,
legend of Taco Truck.
number 23. We're going to talk about the New York Giants. The Giants, I think, it's kind of a hit and miss with them too. But I think definitely you got to start thinking about rebuilding the offensive line. Although Eli Manning is probably on the downside of his career, and they're going to need to draft the quarterback pretty soon. I think this spot for Cam Robinson is a good pick at offensive tackle from Alabama, another pro set guy. I mean, that Alabama team, how many guys can you just bring out of it in the league? But here's an offensive line that needs to start get rebuilt, and I think Cam Robinson is a good start for them for Alabama.
I think what happens for them is that they look at the fact that the linemen have fallen to them a little bit, and I think that they're really, really happy to get him there. I don't think they're going to be able to pass on this early in the draft. I think that the fact that he falls to them at their pick at 23 is great. They do have a lot of needs, Mike. I do think they haven't addressed running back in free agency. I still think that they might. They're a team I can absolutely see picking a running back later in the draft, unless they really think Paul Perkins can take the job. I don't know that he can. Either way. I think to get a guy like Robinson at 23 for a team who really, their defense was very highly rated last year. I think that that's probably okay. They have the luxury, Mike, of not having to really look at that defense because it played so well last year. And you got to protect Eli in the twilight of his career. You've given him weapons on the outside. You're probably going to address running back later. I think it's a nice pick.
Yeah. So before we get to the 24th pick of the Oakland Raiders.
Are they still Oakland? Do we agree on that?
Oh, yeah, they're still Oakland for now. They will be the Vegas Raiders soon. But before we get to that 24th pick of the Oakland Raiders, we'll be right back.
This episode of the Sports Box is brought to you by Mic'd Up Entertainment and DJ Mike Velardi. For all of your event planning needs, make sure you contact Mike at 609-864-5925 and tell him that you saw him on the Sports Box.
And we're back. And so we're going to close out this round at pick number 24 with the Oakland, soon to be Las Vegas, Raiders. And with us on the line right now is our Raiders guru, the man who gives us everything straight to the point without cutting any corners, is Mr. Ron Dorsey. Ron, welcome to the show, pal.
How you guys doing?
Oh, man, should I even tell him?
Living the dream.
Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, Ron, we're at the Raiders pick. Raiders got some needs. What's going on with the Raiders this year? What do you think?
Well, like I was saying, a running back situation right now is up in the air. We got rid of Murray.
Yeah.
I think he signed with Minnesota.
Yep,
that's correct.
Minnesota he signed with. So we're a little hurt in there, but we got Carr, we got Cooper, we got Crabtree. We got a good core on offense. I think we need to build up on our defense in the draft this year.
Okay.
And with our pick, we have a couple options, but like I said, we have to go defense. I like Jared Davis from Florida, linebacker.
Yeah.
I think he can help out a lot in our defense. Either him or go to a secondary, like a safety or a cornerback will help out. But I like Davis a lot with our pick.
Yeah, if you look at the Raiders, they obviously with the loss of Carr last year, that hurt them on offense. But here's a Raiders team that could probably beef up a little bit on defense. The linebacker position, like you said, Ron, is a good pick. They need that kind of linebacker to plug up the middle, to roll outside, to get some coverage there, and a secondary guy wouldn't be a bad move either.
Yes, we need a lot of help on the defense. As you can see, last year we were ranked last and everything.
And with that said, I think the Raiders are going to be up there for the division title this year. So with that, that's not a bad position to be in. You have the defense are going to be a division winner.
Not at all. And Ron, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, if it's one thing this team doesn't need, it's offense. I mean, they really came into their own last year. They did lose Latavius Murray. They look to be bringing in beast mode. I have my thoughts on that. You and I may disagree on what Marshawn Lynch can do for them. However, that's a position that they can address later. I think Davis is a great pick there for the Raiders because, again, they do need to address that defense now. They've spent a lot of premium picks on the offense, and now it's time to make sure that the defense is being taken care of as well. Give Kilo Mack some help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mack needs a lot of help. He can't do it all himself.
He tries, man.
Marshawn Lynch thing.
Yeah.
I think necessarily we really don't need him, but the veteran leadership and championship, he won championships. That will go big in our locker room.
Yeah.
The young guys that we have. We have a lot of young guys on offense. I think he would help with that.
And I had mentioned to Brian, if he's in any kind of shape, he's going to be a help for them. If he's not in any kind of shape, and Marshawn Lynch's attitude, if he don't give a crap and he's eating skills all the time, so it's going to be a long season. But
I have my concerns given the age, but I think I guess it remains to be seen.
Yeah.
But however,
he's at that age. That hard age right now too.
Exactly.
That's true.
It could help or hurt him.
So at 20. At 24, the official Sportsbox pick is Jared Davis, linebacker out of Florida, to the Oakland, Las Vegas, whatever you want to call them, Raiders.
Before we get moving on, we're going to thank Ron Dorsey for hopping on the line, giving us the Raiders pick. Ron, thank you as usual, my pal.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And of course, so this is our third set in our NFL Draft first round mock. So make sure you're keeping an eye out. We're always on social media, as Mike always likes to remind me.
Always
Reminds me. We are on Twitter at Sportsbox Show and Facebook at Sportsbox Show. And again, this is part 3 of 4. So if you haven't seen the other parts, make sure that you're looking around. We have special guests through all of our segments to give them their special picks. And of course, YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe. You know you want to.
Like flies on poop, we are everywhere. So at the Sportsbox, the only opinion that matters. Right here.
Can't help himself.
Not damn right I can't. Thank you very much. See you.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or rent in the South Jersey area, give Dave Burbaum a call with RE/MAX Community, 856-524-2927, and buy with Burn.
1, 2, 3.
Don't forget to subscribe.